Hello everybody and welcome back to Febvre in Finland. It's the 16th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Finland, where we first came for a GP back in 1965. The legendary four-time world champion Thorsten Romain victorious that day. We now have 26 different winners of this Grand Prix over the years, and actually nearly all of them have been 250, so the old 250 category. American winners include Danny Laporte, in fact the only American winner, Danny Laporte, on his 250 Yamaha back in 1983, but Jeffrey Hurlings and Tony Cairoli victorious here the last time we came in 2013 and 2014 in MX2 and MXGP respectively. But we will have a new winner on the list today in this MXGP category. Who will it be? More importantly though, will we see a world champion crowned in the Premier class in the form of Tim GAJSER, who is eyeing up his 5th world title. The racetrack here just under 1,700 meters long. It's a 180 left first turn, and then when we rejoin at the end of the lap, we go 90 through that first turn where that extra loop is. Riders just coming in from their sighting lap, as you can see. Before we go anywhere though, and if you weren't with us earlier, want to know what happened in the first MXGP race, well, it was pretty interesting actually, because Tim GAJSER knew that he could possibly wrap up the championship in the first race. Jeremy Seewer was going to do everything he could to prevent that from happening, but there were one or two riders that had other ideas, put it that way. Here's what happened in that first MXGP race a little earlier on today as they prepare the Fox Holeshot line for MXGP race 2. MXGP race 1 earlier on in the day. Romain Febvre over on the right hand side as we look down the grid. He was on pole position, he got the best start and he crossed the Fox Holeshot line for the first time this year. Obviously he's not been riding that long because he just recently returned from injury. But behind him, Jeremy Seewer, Glenn Coldenhoff, Tim GAJSER in fine form, but Brian Boger's going from 4th to 3rd before the end of the lap, finding his way around the World Championship leader on the standing construct, Husqvarna. He then passed Seewer a few corners later to move into 2nd, and then he went after Romain Febvre on the factory Kawasaki. Febvre making a mistake at the end of the waves, missed his line. Bogers was straight through. No second invites needed. From there, nobody saw which way he went. The two Yamahas of Coldenhoff and Renault were going at it in 5th and 6th place. And then Seewer, who was occupying 3rd, he fell. GAJSER went through, so too did Coldenhoff and Renault. Then, while 2nd, Febvre fell. That allowed GAJSER to close right in on him. And then at the end of the next straight, he fell again. So GAJSER was up to 2nd. And then behind him, all things were going on. The two Spaniards, Jorge Prado and Rim Fernandez, doing battle. Prado had the advantage at that point in the race, but as the race went on, Tim GAJSER started to tighten up. And the Yamahas came by of Coldenhoff and Renault. That put him down into 4th place, and then Seewer got the better drive through the wave section to take over 4th. And then Romain Febvre also joined in on the act a couple of laps later. He went into 5th. GAJSER finished the race in 6th position. In the later stage of the race, Jorge Prado, who was in 8th place, got passed by Alberto Ferrato. Ferrato finished 8th, Prado 9, but a 2nd race win of the year and his career for Brian Bogers in race 1 from Coldenhoff, Renault, Seewer and Febvre. And that means Tim GAJSER now 112 points clear at the top of the table. Take a look down to pre-grid. Lisa caught up with Calvin Verlanderen, but before that, Alberto Ferrato.
After this MXGP race, we may have our 2022 MXGP World Champion, but after watching that first MX2 race, who knows, anything can happen. But let's catch up with Albi Ferrato. Albi, I know you're still riding yourself back to fitness after your injury, but looking at that first race, you look good out there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was good. The feeling is coming back more and more. You know, it's always tough to come back after the injury, and like, I still need some time, but I'm coming back, and the first motor was good, was strong. Bad start, but then I came back good, so keep going like this.
After this round, we've got 2 GPs left. What's your plan? What's your goal for the end of the season?
Yeah, for sure is to have all the feeling back and to do consistent and really good races in the end, and we see what they can do.
Best of luck. Thanks, Albie. Calvin Vlanderen, let's talk about that first race. Bad start, but you did make some time up with a hard charge through the field. Tell us about it.
Yeah, actually my start wasn't too bad. I came around, I would say, inside the top 10. And then unfortunately I was trying to make some passes the first lap, and they made like a smooth line on the outside, which I tried to go, and then my front wheel just went over the berm and I went down. So I was completely lost and I had to charge my way through the pack. So not easy to pass, came back to 11th, which is, I mean, obviously not what I'm here for, but it was okay.
3 support groups this week and a lot of racing out on track today. How's the track shaping up this late stage of the game?
I mean, if you guys like playing follow the leader, then this is a track to go to. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. I feel for me, it's like not really a GP standard. I think it needs to be definitely looked at, and we need to be able to pass. You know, it's at the moment it's really one line out there, and yeah, it's just about the start.
Okay, well, have a good race. Thanks, Calvin. Good luck to all the guys. It's time for MXGP Race 2.
Take a look at the top 5 as we head into race 2. Tim GAJSER has had his lead slashed from 115 points to 112 over Jeremy Seewer. Jorge Prado is next with 40 points to make up. And then we've got Coldenhoff and Romain just 14 points behind his teammates. That's how it shapes up ahead of race 2. And the calendar, we're still in Technicolor over on the right-hand side. We are in the middle of a run of 3. We had Sweden last week. We're in Finland this week. We go to France next week, Saint-Jean-d'Angely. 2 weeks later, we round out the series in Turkey. And then at the end of September, the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations at Redbud. Can't wait for that one. Here's how the riders line up then, just as they did for race 1. Romain Febvre on pole for the first time this season, and for the first time since the last round in 2020. Brian Bogus, Glenn Coldenhoff, Jeremy Seewer, Jorge Prado, championship leader Tim GAJSER, Mitch Evans and Brent Van Donnick. And behind them, Maxim Renault, Calvin Vlanderen and Ruben Fernandez, with Van Hoorbeek, Jacobi, Osland, Ferrato, Havisto, and the rest with Watson, Koch, Monticelli, Guadagnini, Brumman, Kutsar, Leok, Kulas, and the rest. MXGP Race 2 just moments away. Tim GAJSER preparing his gate. He has a 112-point advantage, which means if Jeremy Seewer wins the race, Tim GAJSER can finish 8th or better to be crowned world champion for the 5th time. Jeremy Seewer focusing on the job at hand. Can he take the championship chase to France in a week's time? Or will it be done and dusted here for the Swiss? It was a very crazy race, that first one. When you look at the story of the race, Glenn Coldenhoff, who started in around about 5th position, eventually came home 2nd. Romain Febvre led and fell. GAJSER got up to 2nd and then just cracked and started to ride tight, dropped down to 6th. Brian Bogus, no concerns, no pressure. The standing construct Husqvarna rider absolutely breezed to his 2nd race win of the season. But the pressure just starting to show for those challenging for the championship. And it doesn't matter whether you've won 1 or 4 titles and you're going for the 5th. Those nerves, those moments of anticipation, anxiety. Even Tim GAJSER was feeling a little bit like that during race 1. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the final time this weekend. The MXGP of Finland here at Hyvinkää. We're about 50 miles or 50k, 30 miles north of Helsinki. And we're getting ready to go racing for the final time. Fox Holeshot just around the corner. Who will it be? Race 1, it was Romain Febvre. This time it looks like Coldenhoff crosses the line ahead of everybody else. And that'll be for the 2nd time this season for the Hoff. Just behind him, Romain Febvre, number 3. Then the 29, I think, of Jacobi it is. Then Siwa. A couple of riders coming together, and it looked like Fernandez and Monticelli. I think they may have just stayed up, but where is GAJSER? He's in 14th position. So a nervy start for GAJSER. Coldenhoff goes defensive. Febvre looks to go around the outside. We'll see where GAJSER is at the end of this first lap. We'll see where Siwa is at the end of the first lap. He's currently there in 4th position now. But a great start for Coldenhoff as he triples his way in. Febvre follows him in as well. GAJSER already gaining ground. He has to. He knows if he doesn't win here, he can win in France. But it's going to be a long 30-minute plus 2 race for the Honda man, for Team HRC. Evans behind his teammate at the start of the race. Van Horebeke, Guadagnini, Beaton, Koch and Verlanderen. Ferrato buried at the back in 26th place at the moment. Working our way towards the first unofficial lap. And it's going to be Coldenhoff leading the way. He and Febvre separated by just over half a second as they hit the line. Jacobi, JM Honda Racing, 3rd, but look at Febvre charging downhill. He's all over the back and into the side and over the bars. Febvre down hard. A lucky escape for Coldenhoff, but Febvre down and out of 2nd position. Well, we just had a race for the drama in MX2 race 2. Don't tell me we're going to get more of the same in this 2nd MXGP race. That hands 2nd to Henry Jacobi. Siwa now 3rd. GAJSER across the line in 12th place. And Siwa already making inroads into Jacobi with the fastest Sector 1. And let's take a look at Febvre again. He was on the gas, but he just misjudged the jump into the side of the Yamaha man. Oh, hits his head, breaks his visor off as well on the rear wheel of the Yamaha man. Watch this here. Tags him there and gets a snag. He picks himself up, gets out of the way, but has he rejoined the race? Siwa now 3rd, behind Jacobi. 4th is Monticelli. So the 2 JM Hondas, Jackie Martin's Racing Hondas, are in 3rd and 4th, with Jacobi 29 there in blue. And his teammate Monticelli, but I think Siwa may just be there in 4th place. In fact, he is. Siwa there in 4th place. Then Monticelli. Evans is down as well. Oh. Just there, look, the other side of the wave, Jello. So Mitch Evans running back to his bike. He was in 13th behind GAJSER. There's Maxime Renault and Brian Bogus, your winner from race 1. So Coldenhoff leads, Jacobi 2nd, Siwa 3rd, Monticelli, Fernandez, Bogus in 6th place. Renault 7th, Van Donnick 8th, Jonas 9th, GAJSER 10. And then we've got Kulas, Van Horebeke and Febvre picking himself up in 13th position. So Febvre did rejoin the race, and there he is in the background. Jeremy Siwa. He knows it's still mathematically possible to win the championship, but look at Jacobi. Fastest Sector 1. He's just set the fastest lap of the race as well, a 53.8 on that opening lap. 1.5 seconds adrift of Glenn Coldenhoff, your race leader. Well, he's definitely got some lead in the pencil there, hasn't he? He's going after the... Look, there he is in the background, going after the leader. Here's Febvre and his teammate, Watson. Just behind them, Jorge Prado. Another poor start for Prado, the king of the Fox Holeshots. Going around the outside of Watson, but not able to make a move there. And Guadagnini back there as well. So the 2 Red Bull Gas riders. And Calvin Verlanderen, another poor start for the 10 on the Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha. Oh, the Jerry man eating a face full of dirt. Ruben Fernandez just eases his way through that turn a moment ago as he circulates in 5th place. Van Horebeke over on the right-hand side, the number 89 in red. on that Beta STM Corsa machine. Febvre trying to find his way past him. No visor on the front of the helmet. It's going to be a long way back from here for Febvre. So Coldenhoff extends his lead. He's 1.9. He reacts to the threat from Jacobi. As Jonas trying to find his way past Fernandez. Fernandez 8th, Jonas 9th. And he was actually in 5th place, wasn't he? So Bogus has gone through. Renault, Van Donnick and Fernandez now in 8th place. Monticelli on screen on the Honda, the JM Honda. He has your winner from race 1 behind him, who just pulls a tear off there. Brian Bogus, the 189. Standing construct Husqvarna rider here. How will this affect the podium? Well, at the moment, the Hoff will be on the top step with a win and a second from race 1. 47 points. Bogus would be second overall with 41 points. As it stands right now, a win and a 5th place, which is where he currently resides at the moment. And then Siwa would be on the podium 3rd with 38. So he's got 3 points in hand over his other teammate, Maxime Renault. Still plenty of laps to run. Race 1 was 18 laps. We are only 2 laps into this race. This is lap 3. Where is GAJSER? He is still occupying 10th position at the moment. Not really showing any signs of advancing forward. He is 1.6 seconds behind Paul's Jonas at the moment. As Bogus, Jonas's teammate, going after Monticelli, who looks across. The Italian sees the Dutchman there, shuts down the door, denies him a route through into 4th. Then he makes a slight mistake there, just entering the final turn, the Italian Ivo Monticelli. Anxious looks on the faces from the crew down there at HRC. GAJSER over the line in 10th place. Going after Paul's Jonas, ahead of him in 9th. So the red Honda here of Tim GAJSER, who's got Fernandez a couple places further up in 8th position. But eyes on this battle between Monticelli and Bogus at the moment, as they occupy 4th and 5th. .22 minutes plus 2 laps remain. Glenn Coldenhoff now 3.3 seconds clear on the Monster Energy Yamaha. The JM Honda of Henry Jacobi is in 2nd place. Jeremy Siwa is 3rd. Monticelli on the 2nd of the JM Hondas here in 4th place. He has your winner from race 1, Brian Bogus, behind him on the standing construct Husqvarna, as he is trying to find his way into 4th place to claw back another couple of points in his quest to win a 2nd Grand Prix of the season. But Tim GAJSER, your championship leader and the rider hoping to claim a 5th world title today, still with a lot of work to do. He is in 10th position at the moment for Team HRC. The gap is currently 103 points at the moment. It needs to be 100 at the end of this race. So a nervy time for the guys and girls down there in pit lane for HRC and Tim GAJSER. Jeremy Siwa 3.5 seconds behind Jacobi. If he can find his way past the German, that gives him another 2 points, puts the championship to 101 points. Still not enough to take it to France. GAJSER would still be crowned world champion. GAJSER riding tight in race 1. He's circulating at 155.9, 156 basically, 4 seconds slower than Coldenhoff's time. Renault just running a little wide there. Well, just not getting clean out of the turn as he goes after Bogus. But this is a good showing for Ivo Monticelli. Haven't seen too much of the Italian stallion this year, but looking good in this 2nd MXGP race. Obviously done plenty of laps around Lommel and all of the tracks that are local to him in Holland and Belgium, which he spends most of the time with the team. So no stranger to these kind of conditions, and we're not really surprised to see him doing this well. but when you listen to Calvin Valandren's comments at the start of the race where he said difficult to pass, one line, Monticelli hanging on to that 4th place with relative ease at the moment. There's Romain Febvre, number 3. He has Harry Kulas behind him on the 151 JK Racing Yamaha. Whereas we follow Tim GAJSER, and Bogers goes through on Monticelli, takes over that 4th place. Got better drive coming out of that turn, and all of a sudden, Bogers now has clear track ahead of him to go after Jeremy Seewer. Tim GAJSER, though, just ahead of Romain Febvre, with Paul Jonas and Ruben Fernandez ahead of him. Still not advancing above 10 at this stage. Is in a championship winning position as it stands right now. But look at the riders in and around him, though. Anyway, let's go down to Honda. Go down to pit lane with Lisa.
Roger, tense moments for Team HRC, and I'm sure for Tim out there on track. Perhaps not his usual self today. I know he's probably feeling the pressure. What feedback's he given you after that first race?
Yeah, he's just got to relax a little bit and just ride easy, ride how he knows. For sure, it's like you say, very tense weekend, and we see what happens in this race. But at the moment, he's doing all right. Just keep it on 2 wheels and bring it home.
Is it a case of sense of urgency to wrap the title up today, or is he just taking it easy, trying not to make any mistakes?
No, he's just using his head, trying to focus and trying not to make mistakes, of course, and just ride how he knows how to ride, and then we see what happens at the end of the day.
Okay, best of luck to the team. Thank you.
Tim GAJSER goes past Ruben Fernandez on the uphill, moves into 9th place. Romain Febvre also looking to find his way around the outside of the Spaniard. So another point gained for GAJSER. The gap going out to 104 as it stands right now. Harry Kulas just there in the background, or is it the 10? It's the 10, actually, isn't it? Of Valandren. So Valandren giving chase to Romain Febvre. Said he was happy with his riding in race 1. It's looking good here in race 2. Calvin Valandren getting good drive. He will rely on Febvre pushing Fernandez aside. It looked like that was the case, but he wasn't able to go through. And will Valandren capitalise in this bottom corner here? Yes or no? Well, can't quite see from that angle. And he does. Valandren went through unbelievably. So Valandren sneaks through into 11th, pushes Febvre down to 12th. There's Tim GAJSER. Finds his way past Paul Jonas. And moves into 8th place. All of a sudden, GAJSER may be feeling a little bit more comfortable, maybe a little bit more relaxed. Last week, he had a little message on his shirt sleeve, written down saying, enjoy. Jeremy Seewer going from 3rd to 2nd up the inside of Jacobi. He knows he's there, he can't get across. Seewer taking 2 more vital points. So as Seewer goes forward, GAJSER goes forward. Going to be an interesting end to this race. Just under 16 minutes plus 2 to go. GAJSER looking a little bit more relaxed though, as he tries to break free from Paul Jonas on the second of the standing Husqvarnas, but it's Coldenhoff who holds a 6-second lead over Seewer, his teammate. Just over 15 minutes remain. Tim GAJSER, Team HRC, just looking a little bit. So Tim GAJSER looking just a little bit more stress-free than he was a couple of laps ago as he finds his way past Paul Jonas at the start of the lap. And he looks like he's in a hurry to get a move on as well. sets his fastest lap of the race, a 1:54.1. So knocking a couple of seconds off his earlier lap time. Got clear track behind him, clear track ahead of him. Monticelli about 8 seconds further up the track. So nothing too much to worry about, just focus on the next rider. Here's how GAJSER found his way past Jonas. He cut to the inside at the end of the start straight. Jonas nowhere to go. GAJSER up to 8th. And Valandren on the charge as well. He too has found his way past the 41 of Pauls Jonas. Moves into 9th place. Oh, all of a sudden, Bogus has found his way past Jacobi. And Renault goes through as well. Up to 3rd then for Bogus, 4th for Renault. Here's how he did it. Over on the left-hand side as we look, Bogus just forcing the issue, getting his elbows out. Jacobi nowhere to go. So Bogus now 3rd. This is going to have an interesting bearing on the podium places. "13 minutes plus 2 to go. MXGP Race 2. We're at the MXGP of Finland here at Hyvinkää. 30 miles, 50 kilometers from Helsinki. Coldenhoff continues to lead. He is 8.3 seconds clear. He's on the top step of the podium at the moment with the Monster Energy Yamaha. 47 points. 2nd in race 1, a leader here in race 2 at the moment. His teammate, Jeremy Seawer, is in 2nd place. Like I say, that gap, 8.3 seconds. Bogus is up to 3rd, Renault 4th, after both riders found their way past Jacobi half a lap ago. So Jacobi now 5th. Van Donnik is 6th, but ready to pounce on Jacobi on the Riley Racing Yamaha. And then GAJSER now in 8th place, just behind Ivo Monticelli. Valandren up to 9th, having found his way by Pauls Jonas a moment ago. Febvre is in 11th, ahead of Van Horbik and Kulas Prado. Fernandez dropping down the order to 15th now. But Glenn Coldenhoff, who has, 5 podiums this year, the first coming in Sardinia, round 8 of the championship, where he was 3rd overall. He was 2nd in Spain, 3rd again in France, so 3 podiums in a row. Then he was off the podium for the next 3 rounds, Germany, Indonesia and Czech Republic. And it's been 2 third-place finishes since, in Belgium and in Sweden. And Glenn Coldenhoff looking for his first win of the campaign. And he will move to 3rd in the championship as things stay as they are as well. GAJSER under pressure now from Calvin Valandren. These two fighting over 8th place. So just as GAJSER thought he could relax, guess what? Along comes Calvin Valandren, makes a move, and the Geben van Venrooy Yamaha rider goes by the HRC Honda. Takes 8th place away from the champion-elect. Rider down, Monticelli. So Monticelli losing ground. Monticelli over the line in 9th, Febvre up to 10th. He's also past Jonas. Jonas going through in 11th position. But Calvin Valandren, he is, what, 6.8? Let's call it 7 seconds, shall we? Behind Henry Jacobi. But Jacobi's lap time last time around, a 1:58.7. Valandren setting his fastest lap at 52.8. So in no time at all, the Yamaha man will be all over the back of the JM Honda, who is just there at the top of the hill. Calvin Valandren, another charge through the field. Race 1, he fell on the opening lap. Came round at the end of the first official full lap in 23rd place. Eventually carved his way to 11th with 3 laps to go, which is where he stayed until the checkered flag. But as he said, that's not what he's here for. But now he's got clear track ahead of him. it just a matter of time before he closes down on Henry Jacobi. Maxime Renault, 9.59, he's in third place. So Monster Energy Yamaha, just like they did in race 1 in Sweden, occupying the first 3 positions, Coldenhoff, Siwa, Renault, and they're about 4.5 seconds apart at the moment. Ruben Fernandez decided to call it quits. Obviously, still having issues. The Honda 114 rider. Maxime Renault buries that rear wheel in the sand. He sets his fastest lap last time around, and it was a 52.2. Quicker than both of his teammates, who are first and second. It was 54.2 for Coldenhoff, so 2 seconds quicker than the race leader. And a 53.5, Jeremy Siwa. So is there going to be a last sort of 10-minute charge for Maxime Renault? Will he believe he can take a race win here in the second MXGP race? Siwa ahead of him in the red boots, look. Gap, 34.7, 34.8, 26.6 and 26.1. Another half a second in sector 2. Brian Boger's going to be second overall, Siwa third, Renault fourth. Those two tying on points at the moment. So if Renault can find his way past Siwa, he is on the podium. Siwa is off it. Romain Febvre coming through for Kawasaki Racing Team in 10th place, although 9th now because he's passed Ivo Monticelli. Big crash for him on the opening lap when he was going after Glenn Coldenhoff, and a possible pass for the lead. Coming out of this first turn down into the old turn 2. That's your podium, and just off the podium, Maxime Renault on the same points. On 40. So 7.25 minutes, plus 2 to go. Glenn Coldenhoff in the driving seat. Maxime Renault, though, eyeing up that podium. The final podium place is between these two here. And with GAJSER in 8th, Siwa in 2nd position. Championship lead at the moment is still 103 points, which means GAJSER will be world champion if he stays where he is in 8th place. But if he loses 3 positions somehow in the next 6.5 minutes plus 2, then of course, or 4 positions, because it would be it needs to be 100 points to secure the title. He's 103 at the moment. If it's 99, it goes to France. Renault closing in on his teammate Siwa. And he makes a mistake. And he just roosts his teammate right in the face with dirt off the back of that scoop. Watch this here. He messes up. Almost loses the front. Dumps the clutch around about now. Not the sandwich that Maxime Renault ordered. Working the way towards the end of lap 12. Glenn Coldenhoff over the line now, 1:54.1. Siwa under pressure from his teammate, this other teammate now, Maxime Renault. 54.0, 53.7. Again, Renault the quickest of the 3 riders. The gap between him and Siwa now just 1.2 seconds. Trying to double into that turn there. Oh, look how fragile the outside line is. Brian Boger's 54s, lapping slower than these two by about a second, but it's going to be good enough for a second overall for Brian Boger's. So just under 5 minutes plus 2 to go. MXGP Race 2, things definitely settling down. And Tim GAJSER gains another point. He finds his way past Henry Jacobi. Here's how he did it. So Tim GAJSER round the outside. Does he cut back to the inside? Yes, he does. Gets good drive on the fat part of the tyre. Up the inside of Jacobi. Takes over 7th from the German. So still a nervy race for Tim GAJSER, but he is safe there at the moment. And even more so if Siwa loses this second position to his teammate, Maxime Renault. Fantastic ride, though, for Glenn Coldenhoff. Last Grand Prix victory came Latvia Kegams on August the 9th, 2020. This weekend, his 190th Grand Prix. Glenn Coldenhoff will be signing off in some kind of style, won't he? If he can bring this home. And Jeremy Van Horbeke looks annoyed as he pulls out of the race. Just 2 more Grand Prix to go then for the Jerryman before he hangs up the helmet after the Motocross of Nations at the end of the year. Still nothing to separate Siwa from Renault, though. They're still hovering around about 1.5 seconds apart. Siwa marginally quicker last time around. Right, there's Coldenhoff at the top of the hill. Here's Siwa and Renault. And Brian Bogers in 4th place, but for much longer, because he folds the front at the bottom of the first downhill. The standing construct rider only had about 4 seconds, or is that the gap now? I think Van Donnik has gone through. Van Donnik has gone through, so Bogers, this may play into the hands of one of these two. What was the gap? Let's see on the splits. Bogers crashing out of 4th place. Brian Bogers just fell a moment ago from 4th. I think he's picked up himself in 6th place, so that's going to have a detrimental effect on the podium, possibly this time around. We'll get the guys over the line. But are we going to see 3 Yamahas on the top step? 2nd step and 3rd step this weekend in Finland after that mistake from Brian Bogers, who was sitting pretty with about 3 points to spare. He was 2nd overall at that point. So Brian Bogers, I think in 6th position, but maybe Calvin Villana will be closing in on him as well. 1.5 minutes to go. Coldenhoff, Siwa, Renault over the line. We wait for Brent Van Donnik to go through in 4th on the Riley Yamaha. He's gone through now as we look at Tim GAJSER. Villana up to 5th. And is it Bogers 6th? It should be. Yes, he is. So he's in 6th place. And it will be Coldenhoff, Siwa, Renault on the top 3 steps of the podium, with Bogers on the same points, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all tied on 40. Tim GAJSER in 7th position, on course for the World Championship for the 5th time, though. He is in cruise mode. Never had a Yamaha 1-2-3 in MXGP from the same team. Obviously, Monster Energy Yamaha factory MXGP. That'll be impressive on its own. How much will it be overshadowed by Tim GAJSER wrapping up that 5th title, though? Well, I'm sure the team will celebrate either way, and so will the red corner. Of course they will. Here's Romain Febvre. He is in 8th position at the moment. That crash on the opening lap definitely detuning the Frenchman. Time ticking down. A nervous moment there from GAJSER with about 3 laps to go. Just goes to show how easy it is to make a mistake around this Hervinka circuit. Glenn Coldenhoff timing this absolutely perfectly, look. Time ticks down. He is going to take the 2-lap board. 15 laps complete. It's going to be a 17-lapper, 1 lap less than it was in race 1. Wow. So Bogus had that charge on in race 1. Circuit conditions maybe a little bit smoother. Getting that extra lap. But Glenn Coldenhoff, 6 seconds clear of his teammate Jeremy Seawer, with Renault now settling for 3rd place. Brian Bogus still trying desperately to make up ground, but he's 8 seconds down on Valandren at the moment. Just folded the front in this turn here a couple of laps ago whilst in 4th position, which was good enough for 2nd overall. And he's not going to make the podium as it stands right now. Seawer will be 2nd overall on 40. Same points as Renault 3rd. Bogus also on 40 in 4th place. See the gap that he has to make up. 8.5 seconds. Valandren already down the next hill and through the next turn. So, tough luck for Brian Bogus on the standing construct Husqvarna. Just overcooked it, dived into the turn. Too deep, buried the front, went down. Unfortunately for him, Van Donnick and Valandren were too close. Right, deja vu. Albi Ferrato going past Prado, taking 12th. So 3:03. Alberto Ferrato now up into 12th place. Just over a lap to go then. Another good performances from Alberto Ferrato on the SM Action Racing Team UASA battery gas. Equally impressive though for Glenn Coldenhoff as he enters the final lap with a 6-second advantage over Jeremy Seawer. This one is a long time coming for the Hoff. 5 podiums this year, 3 in a row. Sardinia, Spain, France. It'll be 3 in a row, Belgium, Sweden and Finland, but this one will be the top step of the podium for the first time since Kegham's August the 9th, 2020. So 2 years ago, 5 days ago. He got to the front, didn't waste any time, didn't take any unnecessary risks, opened up a gap to around about 6 seconds. It's hovered around there for the entire race since he took over the lead. He will know, he would have done the math, the team would have told him anyway, that he is on course for the top step of the podium here today. Tim GAJSER though, a nervy weekend for the soon-to-be 5-time world champion. The team already down there celebrating his arrival. And Brian Bogus so near yet so far to another podium visit. But GAJSER, he may be 40 seconds off the lead. Giacomo Garibaldi, the boss man, putting on a t-shirt, the celebratory t-shirt. There's GAJSER. And Coldenhoff making his way towards the line. Here he is. 2 laps to go, 2 corners to go for Glenn Coldenhoff. The Monster Energy Yamaha rider wins race 2. He wins the Finnish Grand Prix. And that is a Grand Prix 2 years in the making for the Hoff. It's going to be a 1-2-3 for Monster Energy Yamaha in race 2 as well, with Seawer and Renault crossing the line 2nd and 3rd. Second time that's happened in 2 Grand Prix. All eyes now shifting to Tim GAJSER, who will cruise his way. He will take his time to the line. Fantastic result for Brent Van Donnick, though. 4 for the Riley Racing Yamaha. Tim GAJSER. Tim GAJSER rounds out the final turn. It was a tough weekend. It was a little bit edgy. But Tim GAJSER crosses the line as a 5-time world champion. He wins title number 5 here in Finland. And Team HRC on top of the world again. And let the celebrations begin. I'm sure Lisa will get in there somehow. But Tim GAJSER, your world champion 2022. So Tim GAJSER relieved that he's finally managed to get the job done. Filippo, the body guy, the masseuse.
How many you have? 5.
How many you have?
Yes.
That's Zanza. The first person to congratulate him, Jeremy Seawer, who will have to wait another year. He will now focus on securing second overall in the championship. But Tim GAJSER, a 5-time world champion.
Yes.
Try and get a word if we can. Not sure if we're queuing up an interview with Lisa or not, whether she can even get close to the scene. But Tim GAJSER joining the list of 5-time world champions that include the likes of... Oh, here we go. Let's do Lisa Leyland first. Lisa, whenever you're ready, dive in.
Tim GAJSER, you made it happen. You're the 2022 MXGP World Champion. You finally did it.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm speechless, you know. To win 1 title, it's a lot. But to win already like 5 with the crew, you know, with HRC, you know, we are an amazing team, you know. Of course, we were struggling a little bit towards the end, you know. I was a bit nervous and everything, but I'm glad that that it's over, you know. So I want to say a huge thank you to all my team, my crew, everybody around me, my girlfriend, Filippo, everyone at home, you know, watching. Thank you very much, guys. I'm super happy.
You made it happen. Well deserved.
Yes! Yeah!
Tim GAJSER, a 5-time world champion. His first 2 titles decided in the USA, the next 2 in Italy, this one in Finland, in Northern Europe. Team HRC on top of the world again, and Tim GAJSER joins the likes of Eric de Boers, Georges Jobé, Joel Smets, Jeffrey Hurlings is a 5-time world champion, of course. But Tim GAJSER, Team HRC, more than 100 points clear now as we head into the final 2 rounds. The Slovenian on top of the world once again. Give you official confirmation there in MXGP Race 2. A Yamaha 1-2-3 for Glenn Coldenhoff, Jeremy Seawer, Maxim Renault. But look at that, Brent Van Donnick on the Riley Yamaha, picking up 4th ahead of Calvin Verlanderen on the Gerben Van Venro Yamaha. Then we had Brian Bogers on the standing construct Husqvarna, Tim GAJSER and Romain Febvre edging out Jacoby and Jonas. Then we've got the 3 gas riders, Albi Ferrato, Prado and Guadagnini, Jed Beaton for F&H Kawasaki, Harry Koulas, Tom Cock, Jerry Avisto, Ben Watson, Alvin Osland and Mitch Evans. Tanolip just missing out on a point here on a return to racing for fun. Glenn Coldenhoff, Jeremy Seawer, Maxim Renault round out all 3 steps of the podium for Monster Energy Yamaha. Husqvarna just missing out. Look how tight it was. 40 points, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Bogus 4th overall. Brent Van Donnick 5th overall for the Belgian. His best finish of the season so far. He was 6th overall in France, but he does it in the sand of Finland with that best result of the campaign. And the championship, Tim GAJSER can no longer be caught. Jeremy Seawer holds a decent advantage now over Glenn Coldenhoff, who moves to 3rd in the championship. Prado drops to 4th, Renault stays 5th, but he's also closing in on Jorge Prado. Brian Bogers gains a position, moves up to 6th ahead of Fernandez and Verlanderen. And then we've got Jonas and Evans rounding out the top 10 in the championship chase. Jeremy Van Horebeke could have added points in race 2, but we saw him pull off. Pretty disappointed with it as well, he was. No change in the Manufacturers' Championship. Yamaha still lead the way from Honda and GAJSER. Take a look at the Fox Holeshot, shall we? Right at the start of the race. And it was Glenn Coldenhoff, Monster Energy Yamaha, with his 2nd of the season. And he turned it into a race win and an overall victory as well. Just one behind his teammate as well, but Jorge Prado already stitching that one right up. 15, GAJSER on 4. scenes down there at the podium as we prepare for the podium here in Finland. Round 16 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. Here's how the podium looks in at Hövinka. And it is a Monster Energy Yamaha blue wash, if there is such a term. Maxime Renaux, third overall. 2 third-place finishes, 40 points for him. What a day for those guys. Jeremy Seewer, second overall. He can now focus on maintaining second in the championship. 4th and a second here today for the Smurf. But with a second and a first Grand Prix victory in just over 2 years, Glenn Coldenhoff with a second and a first will stand on the top step of the podium once again. And what a moment for Louis Vosters, the team owner. I remember listening to the team report that our crew did in Lommel, and he said maybe one day it would be happening, and if it did, it would be nice. Well, they will celebrate tonight. There's Chipper. Hakan Lehmann, the FIM board member, handing the third-place trophy to Maxime Renaux. His 2 third-place finishes getting him on the podium once again. 7 podiums now for the Frenchman this year. Jeremy Seewer takes his trophy from the mayor of Lahti, from the guy known as Pekka Lahti. But Glenn Coldenhoff, Monster Energy Yamaha, Joanna Lukkonen, the mayor of Hövinka. Hans Korver's down there saying top. What a day for the blue crew, and Monster Energy Yamaha rounding out all 3 steps of the podium. And this trophy, I am sure, will take pride of place down there in Burgake, which is where the factory Yamaha team is based in the Netherlands. But Tim GAJSER arrived here with the championship leaders' red plates. He emerges with the number 1 on the shirt as a 5-time world champion. And that red plate changes from red to gold for GAJSER. As always, Mr. Antonio Alia Portela, the FIM CMS director, on hand to deliver the good news. The gold plate and the World Championship's gone back to Honda, to Japan, and to Slovenia for Tim GAJSER. A historic day here in Finland. The champion crowned, a 1-2-3 for Yamaha. National anthems next for Glenn Coldenhoff.
And now we have the ready for the winning national anthem from Netherlands. National anthem also. Congratulations to the Yamaha, 3 best riders for today.
Glenn Coldenhoff wins his 6th career Grand Prix victory on his 190th Grand Prix appearance. And he leads a Monster Energy Yamaha 1-2-3 here in Finland, flanked by Jeremy Seewer and Maxime Renault. Tim GAJSER wins World Championship number 5. So much to get through in a moment, but let's check out the highlights from MXGP Race 2.
Proost, hè? Hoi, proost. Zo.
MXGP burst into life with Glenn Coldenhoff picking up his second black plate of the season with that Fox Holeshot. Romain febvre was right there behind him, and they were closely followed by Henry Jacobi and Jeremy Seewer. But then towards the end of the lap, febvre tried to make the lunge for the lead. He fell, picked himself back up in 13th place, having fallen from second. But your winner from race 1, Brian Bogers, was on a charge. He made that move on Ivo Monticelli to take over 4th. He was still going after the W. And Jeremy Seewer emerged past the 29 of Henry Jacobi as he gained ground on the leaders. Then Jacobi just started to falter. Bogers was through. Maxime Renault also going through. They were now up in the 3rd and 4th place. Tim GAJSER was circulating in and around sort of 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th. Calvin Verlanderen made that move to move into 8th place. GAJSER would eventually come home in 7th, having found his way past Henry Jacobi out of that turn. If things stayed the way they were, he would be crowned world champion. But knocking himself off the second step of the podium with that mistake, Brian Bogers, he was in 2nd position. He would eventually finish the race in 6th place. But it was Glenn Coldenhoff who was victorious in race 2. Seewer was 2nd, Renault 3rd. But Tim GAJSER crossed the line 7th to wrap up his 5th FIM Motocross world title. 4 times now in the Premier class, 1 in MX2. Let's go down to Lisa with our Grand Prix winner.
Glenn Coldenhoff, congratulations. First overall of the season. You brought it home with a comfortable race win. You've waited a long time for this.
I've been waiting way too long. I mean, it's my first win on the Yamaha. I'm really happy I can give finally the win to them. And thanks to the whole team, you know, we've been working so hard and it's finally paying off. And yeah, really pumped about that. Want to thank all my family back home who was not here, and last but not least, I want to thank me for believing in me, you know.
Well deserved, Glenn. Thank you. Second overall today we have Jeremy Seewer. Jeremy, a 4th and a 2nd. Tell us about your weekend. Solid riding, as always.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled a lot yesterday morning, you know. That's not my favorite kind of tracks. I was like, I need to put this thing together, work a bit on my bike, work on myself, and you know, don't do too many mistakes. And I did it today, you know, solid ride. Glenn, yeah, he was really good in that second moto. He deserved the win, but anyway, super cool. I mean, you know, 3 teammates on the podium. I think this never happened. Amazing. Thanks to the whole crew. It seems like the hard work pays off, you know. And also big congratulations to Tim. He rode a fantastic season. And now 2 to go. I'm looking forward to that, and let's get some more good results. Thanks.
Thank you. 3rd overall today we have Maxime Renault. Maxime, 2 third-place finishes. You made it a 1-2-3 for Yamaha and your team. History was made today, and you were part of it.
Yeah, I'm super happy for the team. It's amazing to make 1-2-3 on the GP. As a personal result, you know, it's yeah, it's good. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but yeah, we're still on the podium, so it's great. You know, it's my rookie season, so I'm keep on working, and we'll try to get ready for the last 2 races, and especially for next year.
Thanks, Maxime.
Maxime.